I'm recording now. Okay, perfect. So whatever time we do sign up for, guys, make sure that whether you're doing it at 6:30 on the 7th or 11 a.m. on the 8th, that you log in at the right time. Okay, so last time I had some people who logged in at 2 in the afternoon or something like that, and there's a time there for a reason. Okay. Um, Here's sign up sheet, so you can just click on it, write your name under which time works best. So for my lab assignments, guys, I went ahead and I reopened every single assignment we've had in my lab, and so all the homeworks and quizzes are open, and they're due at 8 o'clock on Thursday the 8th. Okay, so if there's any assignment you missed, you can go ahead and still get it done. I've also extended the number of quiz attempts on the quizzes to 5 attempts. So if you took a quiz and you did it 2 times and you still weren't happy with the grade, know that you can go back and have it. Still have a chance to improve on that. Okay. So anyway, just want to let you know. And then again, class assignments 1 and 2. If you didn't turn in number 1, you can still turn it in, and they're both due by 8 o'clock on July the 7th. And if you're wondering where they are, tells you right here. Here's class assignment 1. Here's class assignment 2. Okay. Let's see. And I did send you guys an announcement, but the announcement was basically this information. I just copied and pasted it, okay? So what I wanted to do this afternoon was, for those of you who had questions, what I wanted to do was, instead of me, I can go over new material, but I wanted to take some time to answer any questions you guys might have out of chapter 11. So let's see. Does anyone have any questions from homework from chapter 11? And that's kind of what I wanted to do this afternoon, guys. I can go over the new material, but again, you're going to have the same thing that you find in the YouTube videos. The whole point, the reason why I was doing that at first was just to kind of get everybody like a little jump start. But I think at this point, here we are, beginning of week 4. I think we're all kind of on the track here. So I really wanted to take time to answer questions tonight. So if there's any questions you guys have, and with the words at least and exactly. Okay, so let me see, Robert, give me one quick second. I'm going to see if I can pull some of that stuff up so that, let's see. I think I know what you're referring to. Let's see, maybe and or. Robert, do you remember where those problems came up with the at least and exactly? Let me see. I'm finding one here. Let me see. I heard something in the chat. Let's see. 11.4. Okay. Let me double check. This is 11.5. Okay. So let's go back to 11.4. Okay. Tree diagrams. All right. Let's see. Number 2. Aha. Yes. Okay. So let me share this, and I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go ahead and work this problem out. So go. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to share this with you guys so y'all can see what it is I'm looking at. All right. Go. Okay. All right, so guys, this is number 2 out of 11.4, and it says 2 coins are tossed. Assume that each event is equally likely to occur. Use the counting principle to determine the number of sample points in the sample space. Construct a tree diagram and list the sample space. Determine the probability that no tails are tossed, that exactly one tail is tossed, that 2 tails are tossed, and that at least 1 tail is tossed. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, y'all, I'm going to stop sharing this part, and I'm going to share, here we go, this deal. And what this is, all I did is just copy the problems that we can see it here, okay? So it says 2 coins are tossed. Assume that each event is equally likely to occur. Use the counting principle to determine the number of sample points in the sample space. Okay, so for part A, remember, we're going to flip a coin. So when we flip a coin the first time, we can land on heads or tails, right? So there are 2 outcomes, right? The first time we flip the coin. And then the second time we flip the coin, we can still get heads or tails. So we're still going to have 2 outcomes, right? So my total number of outcomes, I'm not adding here, guys, but I'm actually multiplying. And I know if you add it, you get the same thing, but we really are multiplying in these type of problems. So there's going to be 4 possible outcomes. So right here, all I'm going to do is I'm going to put the number 4, okay? And I'll tell you what, I'm going to go through it all here, and then we'll enter answers in my lab, and so you guys can see that I'm telling you all the truth, okay? So let me get the pen going. Here we go. Okay, part B says, construct a tree diagram and list the sample space. Okay, so when we flip the coin the first time, this is the first toss. We're going to get either heads or tails. And then when we flip it the second time we can get either heads or tails. Okay. So what I'm really doing here, guys, the reason we call this a tree diagram, it looks very much like a tree, right? So what I'm doing here is I'm kind of following the little paths that we got here, okay? So we flip it the first time, we could get a heads, and then we can get another heads, or we could get a heads and then a tails, or we could get a tails and then a heads, or we could get a tails and then another tails. So those are my 4 outcomes, right? And that's what I have right here, okay? All right, so now part C. Part C says, what's the probability that we're going to get no tails? Okay, that's part C, no tails. Okay, so remember, think about it this way. There's a total of 4 outcomes, so my denominator is going to be 4. Out of those 4, how many of them have no tails? Well, just the first one, so it's going to be 1 out of 4. Okay. And then part D says, what's the probability that exactly 1 tail is tossed? So part D says exactly 1 tail. So again, I know we have a total of 4 possibilities. The ones that are exactly 1 tail would be this one here and that one there. So 2 out of 4, and that's going to give me 1/2. Okay. And then part E says, what's the probability that 2 tails are tossed? Okay. So E says 2 tails. Okay. So out of the 4, the one that has 2 tails is this one down here. So again, that's 1 out of 4. And then part F says at least 1 tail. Okay, at least 1 tail means that there's got to be at least 1. There could be more than 1, but there's got to be at least 1. So this one has at least 1 because there's 1 there. This one has at least 1. And so does this one. It has 2. Remember, at least 1 means 1 or more, right? So that's going to give me 3 out of 4. Okay. And so, guys, now if I stop sharing this screen here and I come back and I share the original problem, which was right here, this is it. Okay, so now first thing I'm going to do, remember we said there was a total of 4. We're going to check our answer. Perfect. Okay, and then if you think about the picture that I drew, I know it didn't look like A and I didn't know it didn't look like C. So it looks either like B or it looks like D. I want you to pay attention because when I look at D, it says first we get heads and then we get heads, or we could get heads and we can get heads again. Well, that's not what we're looking at, right? It's got to be more like B because that has all the different possible outcomes, right? All the different possibilities. Okay. All right. So then our different, when I follow it like heads, 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 tails, tails, heads, tails, tails, that's going to be choice D here. Okay. And then no tails are tossed. So no tails, we said our answer here was 1 out of 4. Okay. And then that exactly one tail was tossed. I think when we said exactly one tail, let me double check. Yeah, we had 2 out of 4, which when we reduced it was 1/2. So 1/2. So, and then getting 2 tails was also 1 out of 4. And at least one tail, this one here was 3 out of 4. There we go. So we're able to kind of figure out what does that at least one type of business mean, right? Um, so let me see. Before I go on, let's see. Robert, did I make any sense with number 2 in going over this particular problem? Like try to distinguish between the words at least, yeah, okay, and exactly. Okay, good, good. Um, let's see, guys. Yeah, no problem. This is where we're here. This is where we're here, guys, to make sure that you guys feel okay about these problems. Do y'all have any other questions or any questions at all that y'all want to ask me? Like I said, what I really wanted to do tonight was just kind of go over questions from homework. I mean, if there's any problem that you want me to do, don't be shy. Just ask me, and I'm happy to do it. Yes, sir. At least more is so. At least one. I'll put it here in the chat. At least one is one or more, right? So it can be 1 or it could be 7, right? But again, we're only flipping the coin 2 times, so it's either going to be 1 or 2. But that's right. One, at least one means one or more. So guys, again, what I really wanted to do tonight was just answer any questions y'all might have. So if there's any questions you have out of any problems in chapter 11, I know you might have problems, like you may not have gotten to chapter 12 yet or whatever, but that's okay. I mean, chapter 11 is kind of a long chapter because we do all the sections. But if y'all have any questions out of there, I definitely want to make sure that I'm able to answer them for you guys. Any other questions about anything? Let's see. I'll tell you what. Let's try. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's try this one here. Let's see if we can figure this one out. So, and again, because it's going to be a similar type problem, so let me put this in my notes, and we'll see if we can't figure this one out. Because I just want to make sure you guys are okay with this stuff. So let me stop sharing that, and I will share my notes one more time. Okay, so it says a box contains 3 cards. On one card, there's a triangle. And on the other card, there's a pear, and on the third card, there's an apple. Two cards are to be selected at random with replacement. Complete parts A through E below. Okay, so let's see if we can't figure this thing out. Okay, so card number 1 has a triangle. Card number 2 has a pear. And I know that don't look much like a pear. And card number 3 has an apple. And we'll color it red. So apple, pear, and triangle. Okay. So part A says determine the number of sample points in the space. So remember, the first time we draw, we can get 3 choices, right? And the second time we draw, we can also have 3 choices because we are replacing the cards, right? So that means that once we pick it, we put it back. Remember what we're doing here, y'all? We're multiplying. So that's going to give me a total of 9 choices, right? So I'm going to stop sharing this. I'm going to come back and share my problem so y'all can see what it is I'm doing. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and enter 9. And I'm going to check my answer, and there we go. Okay, so now it's asking us, can we figure out which is the right tree diagram? And we definitely can. So if you think about this for a second, y'all, and I think about my tree diagram, right? Remember, we're picking a card 3 times. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, right? So we can get either a triangle, a pear, or an apple the first time. And the second time we do this, we can still get a triangle, a pear, or an apple because those cards are being replaced, right? Triangle, pear, and an apple. So this is what my tree diagram is going to look like. So when I come back here and I say, okay, well, look, let me see what it looks like. Oh, it should be something like choice B. I'll check my answer. There we go. Okay, and then if I just follow those, like these kind of patterns over here, right? So it could be a triangle and another triangle and a pear, triangle and an apple, pear and a triangle, pear and a pear, pear and an apple, apple and a triangle, apple and a pear, apple and an apple. So it looks like choice D is the one we want. Okay. And then it says, determine the probability that 2 apples are selected. Okay, so guys, if I look at this part right here, my choice that we picked in part D, remember, we know we have a total of 9. Oops, the 9 needs to go on the bottom. We know we have a total of 9, right? Out of those 9, how many of them have 2 apples? Just one of them, right? The very last one. So my answer here is going to, answer here is going to be 1/9. And we'll check our answer, okay? And then it says, determine the probability that a card containing a triangle and then a card containing a pear are selected. So again, I'm going to do the same thing here. So I'm going to first go to my denominator, which I know is going to be 9. Okay, and it says the first one is a triangle and then a pear. So first a triangle, then a pear would be this one right here. And that's the only one that has first a triangle and then a card containing a pear, right? So that one there is going to be 1 out of 9 also because there's only one card like that. Okay. And it says determine the probability that exactly one card containing a triangle is selected. Okay, so again, I'm going to do my denominator first. I'm going to go with 9. Okay, so we want exactly one card containing a triangle. Okay, so this one has this one has 2 triangles, right? So remember, exactly one card. It doesn't say exactly one triangle. It says exactly one card. So this one here has a triangle. 2, 3, 4, looks like 5, right? So I'm going to put 5 out of 9 right there. Oops. 5 out of 9. Check our answer. Oh, no, it didn't. Okay. So let's see. Maybe I made a mistake somewhere. Let's come back. Let's see if we can fix it. That exactly one card containing a triangle is selected. Let me see. I heard something in the chat. Oh, let's see. Is it 4? Maybe. Let's try 4. Let's see, maybe that's what it is. So let me come back to my notes, or to my problem, sorry. And maybe it is 4. Maybe they want, maybe that's what they want. Yeah, that's what they want. They wanted 4. Okay. So yeah, I guess they exactly 1 card, and I guess that one has 2, right? So that's what they were looking for. And there we go. Good deal, good deal. Let's see. So guys, are there any other questions you guys might have? Again, I really want to make sure that you guys feel okay about doing, let me see, I'm coming back here. Yeah, I agree, Robert. It was a little confusing on that particular problem because of the wording. Let me see if I can pull it back up. Let's see, here we go. And yeah, it's a little confusing. So I'll tell you what I'll do. For the same problem here, guys, anytime, like, when I was in school, I didn't have my math lab, right, or my lab. But when I'm teaching a class and I'm getting ready for it, one thing that I do is I do a lot of the homework for myself, right? And if I do a problem and it takes me a little while and I make a mistake and I'm not 100% confident, what I always do, I hit similar questions, right? And it gives me a similar type problem, right? Now we have an apple, a moon, and a sun, okay? And let's see, we're going to still pick 2 cards. So remember, we have 3 choices and then another 3 choices. We're still going to end up with 9, okay? And then it's going to ask me, what is it going to look like? And it looks like it's going to be something like choice D, right? Because we have apple, 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 moon, apple, sun, right? And then moon, apple, moon, 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 sun, right? So I'm doing it like this. And let's see. I'm going to check my answer again, okay? And then what's my answer going to be? So look, if I go apple, 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 moon, apple, sun, it's going to have to be choice C, okay? And then I'm going to say, okay, what's the probability that 2 apples are selected? So here we go. Here's my 2 apples, right? So again, that's going to be 1 out of the 9 choices, right? And let's see. What's the probability that a card containing an apple and then a sun? So apple and sun, there's only one of them like that. So that's also 1 out of 9, right? Okay. And then choice E says determine the probability that at least 1 card containing a sun is selected. So if I look for the ones that just have 1 sun, that's 1 right there. 2, 3, 4. Let's go ahead and go 4 out of 9 again, because that's how we did it the last time. And now it's telling me that's not right. Okay. That at least 1 card containing a sun is selected. Let me try this. Maybe this is a 5 over 9. So let me see. 5 over 9. And there we go. So this was the one that had the wording slightly different, right? At least 1 card containing the sun is selected. So there we go, right? So again, I can just kind of keep doing a few of them, see if I get a little bit of a better hang of the problems, right? But that's kind of the idea that we're looking for. Let's see. So let me get out of here real quick. Let me see. Cancel that part. Okay. So were there any questions that you guys wanted to ask? Is there any other questions that y'all need from me? I don't know if you guys just need some time to kind of go back and work on them a little bit. Yeah, it was just that. Okay. All right. Well, guys, remember, we're going to do another class session next Monday, and but I mean, in the meantime, as you guys are going through your assignments, if you come up with a problem as you're doing your homework in my lab, if you get stuck on something, let me know. I'm happy to help. You don't got to wait till office hours. Just message me anytime, and then I'll reply back to you. If it's like the middle of the night, I'll reply back to you the next day or whatever. Or if I'm busy doing something else for one of my classes, once I'm done with them, I'll get back to you. But guys, I do check my messages, throughout the day. So like yesterday, I didn't mess with it because it was, Sunday fun day type thing. But if y'all got questions, guys, let me know. I'm happy to help. So if y'all don't have any other questions, I will stop recording our session.